Are you a thrill seeker? Then you must be conversant with activities like scuba diving and paragliding. The mere fact that these games appear and sound threatening does not automatically make them dangerous. As a result of participating in these risky sports, accidents and injuries happen more frequently. Additionally, it's not always about going up against an opponent. Sometimes it's just about the adventure and the pure satisfaction of facing your fear and taking the risk. Athletes looking for a thrilling adrenaline rush can demonstrate their athletic prowess in any situation. So guys, stick with me and I will take you through the top 10 riskiest sports that will send chills down your spine. Without further ado, let's dive in. Number 10. Big wave surfing. Surfing looks cool, but big wave surfing is the next thing for the grandmasters of the sport. The excitement starts when surfers who are brave enough are towed onto the waves to catch them because the waves can reach frightening heights. However, the risk increases in direct proportion to how much pleasure it had because surfing a 100-foot wave is not without risks. Given that drowning and being slammed against underwater rocks are two of the sport's main risks, being pulled under such a wave is not something to take lightly. Number 9. Downhill mountain biking. When it comes to having a pleasant vacation in nature, mountain biking is a good pastime. Downhill mountain biking is one extreme kind of it, which involves moving as quickly as you can along a steep, narrow mountain trail while dodging trees, rocks, and cliffs. But most often, having that much fun can result in serious fractures, brain and spinal injuries, internal bleeding, damage to the organs, or even worse. To better understand the risks, consider alpine skiing. According to statistics, one skier gets injured for every 1,000 skiers. For downhill mountain biking, there is one injury for every 10 rides. Sounds riskier now, don't you think? Number 8. Auto racing. Car racing is undoubtedly one of the riskiest sports there is, with hundreds of kilograms of metal wrapped around you. Speeding of up to 150 miles per hour on hard asphalt, and a 1 in 100 chance of dying in an accident. You may believe that as technology has advanced, the safety of the suits and helmets, and by extension the total safety of the driver inside a race car, has increased. However, technology has both positive and negative effects. Auto accidents are more violent and cars are traveling faster than before. On racing circuits all across the world, there have been more than 40 fatalities since 2001. Number 7. Motorbike racing. Consider motorbike racing if you think automobile racing is risky, unlike race cars, which have solid cages to protect the driver in the event of an accident. And then add racing down a track at an average speed of 120 miles per hour, trying to be the first one to the finish line. The Isle of Man Tourist Trophy, which is regarded as the world's most dangerous race, is also an alternative if regular motorcycle competitions aren't thrilling enough for you. It will undoubtedly send chills down the backs of many people and provide the right thrills for a mad few to race along public roads at extreme speeds while dodging obstacles, stone walls, and residences that are only a few feet away. Number 6. Heli skiing. What do you do when a ski resort isn't enough anymore? Oh well, you pay a helicopter pilot to fly you up some of the scary snow-capped peaks of the world. Then you pay a skier to take you down the mountain while you attempt to stay alive the entire time. For winter thrill addicts, heli skiing is arguably the most intense sport out there. Although flying is the safest and least enjoyable aspect of the sport, we are aware that many people are afraid of it, especially when using a helicopter. The best part of skiing is going downhill. If you don't die in the meantime in an avalanche, freeze to death in poor weather far from civilization, or fall off a cliff. Number 5. Swooping. Skydiving discipline. There is a little doubt that skydiving falls under the category of extreme sports, but few people are aware of the relatively decent discipline of swooping. Participants in the game claim that it is much more exciting and fun than traditional skydiving, if you can classify bungee leaping as routine. Skydivers must fly as fast as they can while swooping, also known as canopy piloting, to get as close to the ground as they can. There are currently several swooping competitions happening all over the world, as well as many injuries and fatalities. As one could anticipate from such a sport, swooping has generated a lot of debate among skydivers all over the world, and many of them argue about whether they should view it as a legitimate sport or just simple idiocy. Regardless of your position, it is obvious that swooping is one of the riskiest things you can do right now. Number 4. Wingsuit flying. Wingsuit flying is a sport that most people have probably never even heard of, yet it has advanced significantly since its inception in the middle of the 1990s. Wingsuit flying is an extreme sport in which pilots jump from planes or cliffs while wearing a customized jumpsuit that gives them extra lift and allows them to glide horizontally through the air. The achieved rate of descent is approximately 80% lower than for a normal skydive, which allows for longer and more distant flying. And just for that, skydivers and base jumpers all over the world accepted it widely. Wingsuiters are pushing the boundaries of what is physically feasible, from breaking distance records and flying in formation to flying as near as they can to the mountains, sides, rock walls, and trees. These risky attempts do, however, occasionally fail, and the sport takes a toll. Since 2002, 162 deaths have been officially documented. As of this time, the latest two occurred in December 2018. Number 3. Free solo rock climbing. Free soloing doesn't allow you the chance to escape from some intense fun in one piece, even if you have a parachute on your back. To begin with, rock climbing is a difficult, demanding, and dangerous sport. Even with all the ropes, harnesses, and protective gear, there aren't too many people out there who practice it for those very reasons. Then there is free solo climbing, which suggests that no gear is utilized throughout the ascent other than climbing shoes and chalk. Without ropes, harnesses, or any other safety equipment, the climber's every mistake has the potential to result in death, or at the very least, major life-threatening injuries. The famous climbers who aspire to free solo do so solely on their prowess. One of the main reasons they do it is the simplicity and the intense concentration required. Think of it like meditation, but a very, very dangerous kind of meditation. Number 2. High-altitude mountaineering. High-altitude climbing ranks second on our list of the 10 most dangerous sports in the world, with a 1 in 10 probability of dying while attempting to scale the highest summits of the Himalayas. Since the initial ascent in 1922, 297 deaths have been documented officially on Everest alone. The dangers of ascending tall mountains are mostly caused by the dearth of oxygen at such high altitudes. Human beings are simply not made to live up there. To give you an idea, if you put a person over 8,000 meters, they would die from lack of oxygen in less than 2 minutes. In a mountaineer's lexicon, the elevations above which human life is not conceivable are frequently referred to as the death zone. Add to it the numerous medical disorders brought on by the frequently poor weather like avalanches, falls, crevices, ice breakdown, frostbite, and so on. Number 1. Base jumping. There are many risky sports, but since base jumping's beginning, it seems to be killing more and more people every year. If you stop to think about it, you can see that there aren't many possibilities of surviving if you jump over a cliff or the top of a tall structure. Jumping from anything high enough for a parachute to fully open before striking the earth is known as base, which stands for building, antenna, span, and earth. The sport draws in a lot of thrill seekers from all over the world, and it has likely claimed the most lives in the shortest amount of time, with the list of fatalities getting longer and longer with each passing year. The Base Fatality List, or BFL, an unofficial database of base jumping fatalities kept by the community since 1981, indicates that 362 deaths have already occurred. And while many people would assume that a sport's early years are the most dangerous, base jumping is the opposite. With 37 fatalities, 2016 was the worst year, followed by 32 in 2018. My advice? Don't try this. Alright guys, that wraps up our video for today. We would love to know your favorite dangerous sport out there only for Daredevils in the comments section below. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more.